Exposed, lonely Millionaire'S Heartwarming blind date reveals an unexpected imposter and incredible turn of events. Charlie walked into the cafe, his heart pounding. Today was supposed to be different. His loneliness, a constant companion, felt amplified under the fluorescent lights. At 36, surrounded by wealth yet engulfed in isolation, he had become the poster child for misunderstood fortune. The chattering patrons and whiffs of coffee danced around him, but they couldn't drown out the silent echoes of judgment from those who thought a millionaire like him should be living in a different world. Then she appeared. Emma, a barista with a bright smile, instantly brightened the dim corners of his heart. Her energy was infectious, as if she carried the warmth of the sun in her small hands. "Hey! What can I get started for you today?" she asked, her cheer genuine and refreshing. Charlie ordered a simple black coffee, but what he truly craved was the connection she seemed to effortlessly extend. They began to chat, uncovering shared dreams and confessions of their struggles with societal expectations. Each laugh they shared sent a thrill of hope coursing through him. But hope often bears unexpected truths. As they delved deeper, Emma sighed and cautiously shared her secret: a struggling artist posing as a barista. Instead of betrayal, Charlie felt a jolt of recognition. Her story was a mirror reflecting his own richness, a tale of pursuit that often eclipsed who they really were. In that moment of brutal honesty, everything shifted. The weight of her words hung between them as they tackled the socio-economic divides that had shaped their lives. Charlie began to see clearly, realizing how far he'd strayed from the simple joys his father had instilled in him. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. With a spark ignited between them, they brainstormed an art project together to showcase the vibrancy of their community, a beautiful tapestry that would highlight the diversity often overshadowed by wealth. Excitement bubbled within them, and Charlie felt a transformation take hold. He started to believe that real wealth wasn't counted in dollars but in the connections we forged. Yet, darkness lurked beyond the cafe doors. As Charlie's friends caught wind of his budding relationship with Emma, their doubt wrapped around him like a vice. "What are you doing with her?" they whispered, their eyes filled with judgment. Anxiety surged within Charlie, caught between loyalty and the chains of his social standing. Would he choose to stand by Emma, to nurture the growth they envisioned together, even if it meant alienating himself from those he once considered friends? In that moment of uncertainty, Charlie's heart raced. This was not just a question of romance, this was a battle for his spirit. Would he dare to break free from the life he'd built and choose authenticity over acceptance? The air thickened, leaving his future hanging like an unfinished canvas, each heartbeat echoing the choices yet to be made. The cafe felt smaller as Charlie's inner turmoil swirled around him. He couldn't ignore the whispers from his friends, nor could he shake the sense of dread creeping in. Each laugh he shared with Emma now felt tainted by the weight of expectation lurking in the shadows. He took a deep breath, focusing on her face as she excitedly outlined their art project. "Imagine it," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. "Each piece layered like our lives' colors bleeding into one another but holding their uniqueness. It could show how we're all connected, how our backgrounds shape us, but don't have to define us." Her vision resonated deep within Charlie. It was what he'd yearned for, a world where people weren't bound by labels. He couldn't help but smile, feeling a flicker of hope. But then doubt crept in again. What if they were never accepted? What if his friends were right, and he was about to make the biggest mistake of his life? Emma seemed to read his expression. "What is going on in that beautiful mind of yours?" she asked, her voice softening. He hesitated, a storm brewing inside. I worry. My life is so different from yours. What if nothing? Do you know how many artists struggle? People like us make the world better, Charlie. She leaned forward, eyes earnest. We're not defined by our bank accounts. We're defined by what we create and the connections we nurture. I see you. Not as a millionaire, but for who you really are. The sincerity in her words struck him like a lightning bolt. It was as if he had been walking through a dense fog, and she illuminated a path forward. Just then, his phone buzzed on the table, jolting him from the moment. He glanced at the screen. It was a message from one of his friends, a looming invitation for a weekend retreat with their elite crowd. Charlie felt the pull of his old life, but as he looked back at Emma, he could almost see their tapestry taking shape, a fabric of shared stories and vibrant colors interwoven into something extraordinary. The idea of retreating back into his old life felt suffocating now. He imagined the dull conversations about investments and status, comparisons that felt more like chains than camaraderie. Charlie? Emma's voice broke through his reverie. Are you okay? He took a deep breath, feeling the weight lift slightly. I don't want to go back to that world, he said, his voice steadier than before. I want to build this with you. I want to live authentically, with the people who understand that. Emma's face lit up, but just as quickly, a shadow crossed it. But what about your friends? What will they think? Charlie frowned, the knot tightening in his stomach. The fear of judgment was tangible, but looking into Emma's eyes, he felt boldness rising. Maybe it doesn't matter what they think. Maybe it's about who I choose to surround myself with now. Before he could finish, the door swung open with a jingle. A familiar figure strode in, Ben, one of his closest friends, sporting an infallible confidence. As he scanned the cafe, their eyes locked for a moment. Charlie felt his resolve falter. Was he ready for this confrontation? Charlie! Ben called out, striding over with a grin that held a few daggers behind it. What are you doing here? This place isn't exactly, your scene. Charlie's heart raced again, but this time it felt different. He took Emma's hand, squeezing it for reassurance. He wouldn't back down. I'm exactly where I need to be, he replied, his voice firm. Ben raised an eyebrow, leaning into personal territory. You with this barista? Come on, man, you can do better. The room seemed to shrink again, with each patron holding their breath, waiting to see how Charlie would respond. He glanced at Emma, whose expression steadied him. The decision was no longer about hiding, it was about standing firm. He could feel the anxiety building up inside him, yet a profound sense of clarity washed over. In that charged moment, he realized he must choose between two worlds, the one where deception masked reality, or one where love and honesty flourished as vibrant threads of a shared existence. As he opened his mouth, preparing to stake his truth, Charlie wondered if he was ready for the fallout that would inevitably follow. Charlie inhaled sharply, the air thick with tension. Ben's smirk lingered, but Charlie felt a fire burning within him. He couldn't hide anymore. This wasn't just about defending Emma. It was about reclaiming his identity. Ben, you don't get it, he began, squeezing Emma's hand tighter. The warmth of her palm grounded him. You think being wealthy makes me happy, but that life is suffocating. I'm done with the pretense. I want the truth. I want connections that matter. Ben's expression shifted, surprise flickering in his eyes. The cafe felt charged. A few patrons looked up from their conversations, intrigued by the unfolding drama. Charlie pressed on, feeling the weight of the moment. This is real. Emma is real. We're creating something meaningful together. Emma's face lit up with pride, her eyes sparkling as she offering him a wordless encouragement. Ben let out a soft chuckle. You really think this is going to last? A relationship built on cafe dreams? For once, I believe it might, Charlie shot back, letting his frustration mix with newfound courage. I'm tired of chasing after empty relationships. I'm tired of impressing people who don't care about me. You don't know anything about what I really want. The shift in mood was palpable. A few people leaned in, listening intently. Charlie realized dust particles floated in a sunbeam streaming through the window, illuminating a world less complicated than the one in which he'd been living. "Charlie, you're just going through a phase," Ben said, his voice losing some of its edge. "You'll get bored. You always do." "Maybe I'm not the one who's bored," Charlie replied, his voice steady but tinged with pain. "Look at you. You think you're all that, but what have you got really?" He fought back the wave of vulnerability that threatened to drown him. "You surround yourself with people who only care about your worth. Life isn't just about networking dinners and golf games." Charlie paused, catching a glimpse of the barista cleaning the counter, her face a picture of concern. She probably saw this kind of thing all the time. This moment wasn't only for him but for everyone who felt suffocated by expectations. Ben's expression wavered. "I just don't want to see you make a mistake." "But it's my mistake to make," Charlie replied, his heart pounding. "And Emma? She makes me feel things I didn't know I wanted to feel. It's about being true to myself." The air felt electric. For a heartbeat, it seemed as if time paused. Everyone in the cafe seemed to be holding their breath, waiting for a verdict. "Enough of this," Ben said after a beat. "If you stick with her, don't come crawling back when you realize you're throwing your life away." Charlie straightened his shoulders. The moment hung heavy, but within it, there was liberation. "I won't be crawling back, Ben. I'm standing on my own. You either support me or you don't." The silence after his words felt like liberation, powerful and terrifying. He could feel his friend still waiting, a silent challenge hanging in the air. "Come on, Emma," he said, turning to her. "Let us go." As they began to leave, a mix of apprehension and hope roiled in his gut. He could hear Ben muttering, but Charlie tuned it out. He was ready to embrace the uncertainty, ready to face whatever came next. Outside, the sun glinted off the pavement, and the world felt wider. Emma looked up at him, a crow of laughter stuck halfway out. "That was daring." She beamed, admiration woven into her voice. He smiled, the weight of his choice settling comfortably on his shoulders. Daring, but worth it. Yet, in the back of his mind, doubt flickered still. What were their next steps? The path ahead was unknown, filled with challenges. Would they survive this leap? And as Charlie and Emma stepped forward together, he couldn't shake the feeling that they were just beginning to unravel a story more complex than he had ever imagined. The moment they stepped onto the bustling street, the bright sunshine stung Charlie's cheeks, igniting a rush of fresh energy within him. He glanced sideways at Emma, her joyful expression sending a surge of warmth through his chest. This was an exhilarating turning point. They had chosen honesty over facade, and it filled him with a sense of power he hadn't felt in ages. Emma looked up at him, her voice light. "I really can't believe how brave you just were." "I mean," Ben looked shocked. Charlie laughed, a soft sound bubbling up from somewhere deep inside. "Yeah, well, it felt good. For once, I felt like I was standing up for something that mattered." As they walked further down the street, Charlie was catching glimpses of their reflections in the glass storefronts, his earlier doubts slowly melting away. The life he had been pretending to live was starting to feel like a distant memory, one he was ready to leave behind. Yet a flutter of anxiety lingered. "Do you think I went too far?" he asked, even as he fed off Emma's excitement. "I mean, what if I mess things up?" "Charlie," Emma said seriously, stopping to face him. "You didn't mess anything up. You stood up for yourself and for us. That's not something everyone has the guts to do." Her sincerity made Charlie's heart race, filling him with both encouragement and a flicker of fear. He had been so used to conforming, to keeping everyone happy instead of honoring his own feelings. They moved among the crowd, a sea of faces that blurred into abstract strokes. Each person offered unspoken stories, their lives woven into the fabric of the city. Among them, Charlie felt more alive, more connected. Maybe he and Emma could be one of those stories filled with unexpected twists. Okay, so what's next? Emma asked, her eyes wide, glinting with mischief. Are we going to risk it all on some spontaneous adventure? A smile broke across his face at her enthusiasm. Spontaneous sounds good. How about we grab ice cream? I know this little place nearby that makes the best sundae. She grinned, her laughter sparking something bright within him. Lead the way, my daring hero. As they navigated through the crowd, the warmth of communal laughter enveloped them. It felt like the city was breathing with them, sharing in their exhilaration. But then, out of nowhere, Charlie caught sight of a familiar figure, someone he never wanted to see again. It was Sophia, a former acquaintance from the world he was trying to escape. She always seemed to have something to prove, and her presence instantly threw him back into doubt. Charlie. She called out, her voice piercing through the laughter. The way she pronounced his name sent a chill down his spine. He could feel Emma's grip on his hand tighten, a subtle signal of tension. Maybe we should, take a different route? Emma suggested, her brow furrowing slightly. No. The word slipped out. Charlie turned to face Sophia, determination rising. She couldn't dictate his life any longer. He would either face her, or he would always be looking over his shoulder. Let us handle this. Emma looked at him, worry mixed with pride, and nodded. Sophia approached, her smile sharp. Been a while, Charlie. I see you're still trying to play the everyman. Her words nicked at old wounds, but as he glanced down at Emma grounding, supportive, he felt a surge of resolve. Actually, I'm not. I'm just being myself. And for once, I'm okay with that, Charlie replied, his voice steadier than he felt. Sophia's smirk faded before she could respond, but the shadows in her eyes revealed something he hadn't anticipated. What did she know? Why was she here? In that moment, Charlie realized how tangled the threads of his old life could become, and as he looked from Sophia to Emma, he felt like they were teetering on the brink of something monumental. Where to next? Emma asked softly, breaking the tense moment. He took a deep breath, feeling the decision weighing on him. I think we need to find out what she wants. His heart raced, but he knew they would have to confront whatever was coming, side by side. Walking forward together, the air hummed with uncertainty. What revelations awaited them? And more importantly, what would they uncover about their chosen path? Charlie, I didn't think you'd be brave enough to come over, Sophia said, her tone a mix of surprise and smugness. She stepped closer, the tension in the air palpable. Bravery is all about context, Charlie replied, keeping his voice steady. Emma squeezed his hand tighter, her support flooding him with comfort. I'm just surprised you're hanging out with, well, her, Sophia said, nodding toward Emma. After all, your taste in company used to be different. Charlie's jaw tightened. I'm different now. I'm not hiding. Sophia tilted her head, a calculating look in her eyes. Hiding? Or pretending? You pick. The words felt like ice water. Was this what he had been doing all along? Pretending to be someone he was not? As he thought about it, doubt crept in, but he pushed it aside. This was about Emma. Look, Sophia. I don't want to play games anymore. You're not in my life, and I'm okay with that, he said firmly. Sophia's lips curled into a mock smile. Right. But you see, some games are hard to escape. There was a weight behind her words, something that sent prickles of unease down Charlie's spine. What are you talking about? You really think you can just cut ties without consequences? She countered, her gaze flickering to Emma, then back to Charlie. "There are people who will want to talk to you about your past." "What past?" Emma interjected, her voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Charlie sighed, feeling the heat rise to his cheeks. "Nothing she needs to worry about," he said, trying to protect Emma, but the threat of confusion in her eyes was hard to ignore. Sophia crossed her arms, her demeanor growing more predatory. "You're naive, Charlie. Sometimes, the past has a way of knocking down doors you thought were locked." Charlie felt anger bubbling beneath the surface. No one was going to intimidate him, not now. And sometimes you need to stop hiding in shadows to control people's lives. "I'm not your puppet anymore." Sophia's expression sharpened, her feigned lightness vanishing. "We'll see how long that lasts." "You think you can keep running? From me? From them?" "Who's them?" Emma asked, her voice rising slightly, a mixture of curiosity and concern illuminating her features. At that moment, Charlie realized how much this could unravel in an instant. He needed to protect Emma from whatever storm Sophia was hinting at, yet he couldn't ignore the growing dread in his chest. It felt like a rattling arrow, longing to strike true. "Let us go," he finally said, grabbing Emma's hand. Anxiety swirled in his gut. They were stepping away from Sophia, but Charlie could feel the invisible strings attached to his past, trying to reel him back in. Behind them, Sophia called out, "You can't run away forever, Charlie. Not from the truth." The words hung in the air, sharp and chilling. As they continued down the street, Emma stopped, turning to him, concern etched on her face. "Charlie, what does she mean? Who's she talking about?" He took a deep breath. "I don't know, but whatever it is, I'll deal with it. I promise. I don't want you to worry." But lying felt wrong. A wave of vulnerability washed over him as he faced the possibility of what he had left behind. What if it wasn't truly over? What if parts of his past were waiting for him like dormant seeds, ready to sprout? Charlie took Emma's free hand gently, their connection grounding him in that moment. "How about that ice cream?" he ventured, attempting to dispel the gravity of their encounter with a hopeful grin. Emma forced a smile, but he could see the doubt lingering in her eyes. "Yeah, let's." As they resumed their path, Charlie couldn't shake a suffocating sensation tightening around him. The shadows of his past felt close, and something told him it was only the beginning. What truths lay beneath the surface, and would he have the strength to face them when they emerged? The ice cream shop was small and cheerful, a vibrant splash of colors that should have uplifted Charlie's mood. But as he pushed the door open, the bell jingled a sound that felt overly loud in the heavy silence running in his mind. He wanted to relish this time with Emma, to enjoy the simple pleasure of ice cream on a warm day, but the nagging dread wouldn't let go. Emma followed close behind, her brows slightly furrowed. "What flavor are you thinking?" Maybe mint chocolate chip?" he replied absently, still lost in thought. Emma tilted her head, studying him. "You okay?" "Yeah, of course." He plastered on a smile, but it felt unnatural. It was hard to shake the feeling that somehow, Sophia's words held more weight than he wanted to acknowledge. As they approached the counter, a lively girl with pink-streaked hair greeted them, her smile wide and genuine. "Hey there. What can I get for you two today?" Charlie glanced at Emma, her eyes sparkling with indecision. "I'll have a scoop of cookie dough," she said, her voice lighter than it had been moments ago. "Great choice." The girl nodded, then turned to Charlie. "And you?" Mint chocolate chip, please." As the girls scooped their ice cream, Charlie tried to focus on the present moment, to block out Sophia's haunting words. But the chill creeping in felt less about ice cream and more about something deeper. After they paid, Charlie led them to a small table outside. The sun was shining down, yet it felt the heat was trapped behind the clouds of his thoughts. Emma took her first bite, her face lighting up with joy, and for a brief second, he felt that warmth too. "See? It's perfect," she said, relishing the sweet, creamy taste. It reminded him of simpler times, when worries felt miles away. But then that fleeting comfort faded. "Charlie, you're being quiet. Still thinking about what Sophia said?" she asked, catching him off guard. He sighed, tracing the rim of his ice cream cup with his finger. "A little. It's just I don't want to bring you into my mess." Emma leaned closer, her gaze steady and understanding. "But I want to be here for you. Whatever it is, you can share it with me." Her words swirled around him, igniting a flicker of hope. But the tether to his past felt like lead, weighing him down. "What if it's too much? What if you discover things about me that change how you see me? It won't change how I feel about you, Charlie." "It would only make me want to help more," she replied, her voice unwavering and genuine. Charlie stared at her, heart racing. He wanted to believe her, wanted to trust that she could handle whatever storm lurked just outside his field of vision. But could she? "I've made mistakes, things I'm not proud of," he finally confessed, his voice low so only she could hear. Emma placed her hand over his. "We all have a past, Charlie. What matters is the person you are now. You're not that person anymore." He felt the warmth of her hand seep into him, battling against the cold dread in his chest. I don't know if running from it was the right choice." As the words escaped, the sensation of something looming grew heavier. Emma's expression softened, full of compassion. "You're not running now, are you?" "No," he admitted quietly, but the shadows were closing in. What if putting on a brave face didn't change the reality waiting for him? Suddenly, the sharp buzz of his phone broke the delicate moment. He glanced at the screen. The name was familiar and made his heart race with dread. His chest tightened as he read the message, "We need to talk. It's time." "Charlie?" Emma's voice pulled him back, but he didn't know how to respond. Shadows had crossed the threshold, and the door to his past was wide open. Could he face whatever was waiting for him? Would he lose everything he had in the process? The weight of uncertainty loomed heavily over him, and all he could do was look into Emma's eyes, searching for the answer. But what he saw instead was a reflection of his own fear. "Charlie?" she asked again, worry lacing her tone. His heart pounded in his chest as he looked back at his phone. Decisions loomed, and he felt the rush of urgency. Could he muster the courage to confront his demons, or would he let the past swallow him whole? The moment felt fragile, the air thick with anticipation, as he realized he might not have the strength to protect Emma after all. Charlie's mind raced, thoughts colliding like a hailstorm. One message and everything felt precarious, like glass teetering on the edge. Emma's voice pulled him from the chaos, but the weight of the past pressed down harder than ever. "I have to answer this," he finally said, fumbling for the right words even as panic tightened its grip around his heart. "Are you sure?" she asked, concern spilling from her eyes as she held his hand tighter. He nodded, feeling an unfamiliar chill wash over him. "Yeah, it's probably important. Just give me a second." He took a deep breath, his thumb hovering over the screen. The name stared back, a reminder of mistakes, broken promises, and a life he thought he could leave behind. Charlie opened the message. "When and where?" He typed back, his fingers trembling slightly. As he waited for the reply, he stole a glance at Emma. She was watching him closely, a mixture of anticipation and wariness etched across her elegant features. Her ice cream sat unfinished on the table, forgotten as the shadows stretched between them. The phone buzzed again, almost mocking him, and he glanced down. "Meet me at the park. 5 o'clock. Don't be late." "What did they say?" Emma asked, her voice barely a whisper, the air thick with tension. "Just wants to meet," he muttered, feeling an odd disconnect between the words and the weight behind them. "Charlie, you don't have to go," she urged, her grip growing firmer. You can tell them no. But the pull of obligation was stronger than he wanted to admit. Would he stand up to his past or be dragged back into the chaos? I should go. I owe it to them. Emma's expression shifted, a mix of disappointment and understanding flashing across her face. Oh, what? You don't owe anyone anything but to yourself. You don't have to face this alone. Her words hit him like a wave, crashing against the fortress he had built around his heart. But fear tangled with longing, making it hard to see clearly. I don't want to drag you into this, Emma. You deserve better. Then let me help you. She insisted, the fire in her voice igniting something inside of him. I care about you. Don't shut me out. It was as if a dam was breaking, flooding him with emotions: fear, love, regret. He looked at her, really looked, and saw the depth of her support shining bright like a lighthouse cutting through the fog. I just don't want to lose you, he admitted, vulnerability seeping into his voice. Then don't push me away, Emma replied, her eyes steady and fierce. He took a breath, feeling the warmth of her hand wrapped around his. It was grounding in a world that felt ready to spin out of control. What if my past does define me? What if I really am just a mess? It doesn't define you, she said, unwavering. You're trying to overcome it. That's what matters. You're brave for even considering confronting it. Charlie chewed his lip, torn between the urgency of the unknown and the safety she offered. He wanted to protect Emma from the debris of his life, but just then, it dawned on him protecting her could mean letting her in, not pushing her away. The sun was slipping down, shadows dancing around them as he felt a weight begin to shift. Could he really let her stand by him through all of this? But before he could answer, his phone buzzed again. The weight of expectation filled the spaces around them, and Charlie knew the moment had arrived to confront the beast or stay shackled in fear. Emma, he began, uncertainty gnawing at him. At that moment, a figure approached in the distance, casually strolling along the sidewalk. Recognition shot through him like ice water. Charlie, who is that? Emma's voice trembled, sensing the shift in his demeanor. His heart raced. The past was closing in faster than he could handle. That's not who I expected, he stammered, anxiety bubbling within him. But as the figure drew closer, uncertainty clashed with a potent mix of dread and anticipation. Was this the reckoning he'd been afraid of, or the unexpected chance to rewrite his story? He looked back at Emma, her eyes wide with questions. I need to face this, he whispered, realizing the truth was not just in confronting his past but in deciding what he wanted for his future. Would he take a leap, or would the shadows pull him back? Every part of him braced for impact, knowing that this moment would change everything. Charlie stood frozen, heart pounding like a drum echoing in an empty room. The figure moving toward them was all too familiar, dragging memories from the depths that he thought he could bury. As the minutes crawled, the silhouette became clearer, an old friend turned phantom, flanked by unspoken history and regret. Is that? Emma began, but Charlie cut her off, gripping her hand harder. Yeah, he murmured, barely able to form words. It's him. The man, Sam, was once Charlie's confidant, but now he felt like a ghost from an old life, bearing the weight of secrets too heavy to share. Sam wore a carefree grin that had masked betrayal in their past. With each step, Charlie could almost hear the echoes of laughter mingled with the sting of shattered trust. Charlie. There you are. Sam called out, voice bright and cheerful, a stark contrast to the knot forming in Charlie's stomach. Emma's fingers trembled in his grasp. Are you okay? She whispered, her concern tangible. Not really, he confessed, feeling like he was caught between a rock and a hard place. He's not just anyone. He's someone I made a mistake with. Sam approached, but Charlie held firm, rooted by a mix of confusion and fear. The memories flooded in, tossing him around like a leaf in the wind. What does he want? Charlie thought, trying to read the expression on Sam's face. "Charlie. Long time, no see. I was hoping we could catch up," Sam said, eyes wide and disarming, but a chill ran down Charlie's spine. Was there an ulterior motive lurking beneath that friendly facade? Emma turned to Charlie, worry etched in her brow. "Are you sure you want to do this?" Charlie looked deep into her eyes, searching for strength. "I have to face it," he finally whispered, the resolve hardening within him. "Great. We can chat right here." "I missed you," Sam beamed, as if nothing had happened. As if years hadn't passed since their last confrontation. "Not here," Charlie replied, voice steady despite the whirlwind inside. "Let's South talk at the park." Sam's smile faltered momentarily before he nodded, surprise dancing across his features. "Sure, man. Just like old times, right?" Charlie couldn't help but notice the irony. Old times were the remnants of shattered dreams and broken promises. But Emma's presence filled him with a sense of purpose. She was there, his anchor, and that made the storm within him feel a little less daunting. When they arrived at the park, Charlie felt the tension weigh heavier, as if the trees held their breath, waiting for the history to unravel. He stood there, Sam on one side, Emma on the other, the atmosphere thick like fog. "Is this about business? Or something more?" Charlie asked, cutting to the chase. He didn't want the games anymore, he was done with that. Sam raised an eyebrow, feigning surprise. "You think I'd only come back for business? Come on. We used to be best friends." "Best friends don't lie," Charlie fired back, his voice barely above a whisper but filled with a steely resolve. Emma's silent support was palpable, her presence grounding him as he confronted the mess he had tried to escape. As the silence stretched, tense and electric, he wondered if confronting Sam meant taking a step toward freedom or plunging into deeper waters. "I didn't come to rehash the past," Sam finally said, his smile returning but now forced. "I came to tell you something important." The words hung in the air, heavy with potential fallout. What could possibly make this better? Charlie thought, bracing for the truth that could either tether him to his past or free him to move forward. "Charlie," Sam said, his tone dropping to something more serious. "There's something you need to know." Charlie's heart raced again, a pulse of urgency awakening all his fears. What revelation could break the tension wrought by their shared history? And at that moment, as expectation hung like a ripe fruit waiting to drop, he felt everything shift. The confrontation was just beginning, and its outcome could redefine everything he thought he knew. Could Sam's truth be the key to his freedom, or would it lock him back into the chains of his haunted past? "Charlie," Sam began, his voice low and urgent, "you need to understand why I didn't come back sooner." The weight of his words settled heavily between them, and Charlie felt Emma's grip tighten around his hand. He glanced at her, searching for reassurance, but her wide eyes mirrored his own uncertainty. "What do you mean?" Charlie replied, forcing the words out even as 1,000 thoughts swirled in his mind. The last time he and Sam had spoken, there had been shouting, accusations, and promises that they'd never see each other again. "I wanted to fix things, I wanted to explain, but I didn't know how." Sam shifted, his confident mask slipping for the first time. "I did something terrible, Charlie. And I thought if I stayed away, maybe it would be easier for you." "Easier?" The incredulity in Charlie's voice surprised even him. "You think that just disappearing was easier for me?" "It was complicated, all right." Sam snapped back, the heat rising in his tone. "We were young, dumb." "Stop." Charlie raised his hand, cutting Sam off. "You can't throw young and dumb around like it justifies everything. You hurt me. You hurt us." Each word sliced through the air, sharp with pent-up frustration that had long since festered. Sam's expression faltered, and for a moment, Charlie saw a flicker of vulnerability, pain woven through bravado. "I know. I regret it every day." But this isn't just about the past. It's about something bigger than us now. Bigger? Emma echoed, her voice steady yet filled with curiosity. What do you mean? With a deliberate breath, Sam hesitated, clearly processing the right words. There's a reason I'm here. I came to tell you about a business deal that's gone wrong. It's bad, Charlie, bad for both of us. If we don't sort this out together, the fallout could be catastrophic. Charlie's stomach twisted in knots. A business deal gone wrong? Memories of their past partnerships flooded back, both successes and failures. That's why you want to talk? You think I would trust you again? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, but you have to hear me out. Sam stepped closer, urgency replacing the carefreeness. There are people involved who aren't just going to walk away. You're in danger, Charlie. The gravity of Sam's words hung in the air like storm clouds, darkening the canopy above them. Charlie's heart raced at the implication. Danger? What are you talking about? I can't explain everything here. But I have information that could protect you. Emma's hand slipped a little, sensing the rising tension. Charlie, she whispered, we can walk away if you want. But the curiosity, the fear held Charlie in place. He wanted to dismiss Sam, to shove the memories back where they belonged. Yet something deep within him recognized that this moment might be pivotal. Okay, he said slowly, weighing his words. You'll tell me everything, but first Sam needed to answer for his past before they could even think about their future. You owe me that much. Fine. Sam nodded, relief washing over him, but it felt tainted with trepidation. But you're not going to like what I have to say. With that, the air shifted again, thick with unspoken dread, and Charlie braced himself. The unresolved tension pressed heavily against his chest. What truth could Sam possibly be hiding that might change everything? As they moved to a quieter part of the park, Charlie couldn't shake a sinking feeling. Could he truly step back into the turmoil of their past, or would this time be different? A gust of wind stirred through the branches, echoing his inner turmoil. Each step forward began to feel less like a choice and more like a necessity. In that moment, Charlie realized the stakes were higher than he ever anticipated. The past didn't just linger, it beckoned him forward. Sam, what do you have to tell me? He said finally, ready to confront the shadows again. It was now or never, and he could only hope that facing the demons would lead him back to a place of light. Charlie, what I'm about to say could change everything, Sam said, his voice steady but his eyes betraying his anxiety. The quiet park, once a sanctuary, felt charged with implications, the sunlight almost harsh against the weight resting on their shoulders. Charlie felt Emma's presence beside him, her unwavering support energizing him to confront whatever came next. Tell me, he urged, curiosity and dread battling inside him. What is it that you've been holding back? I got involved with some people, Sam began, looking down, his usual bravado faltering. People who didn't have the best intentions. Things went wrong, and now they're looking for you because of your name and past connections. What do you mean? The cold grip of fear slithered around Charlie's throat. Why do they want me? They want you to answer for a deal we made, the one that went south. Blame's been thrown around, and they're coming for the people they think are responsible. They're dangerous, Charlie. And I didn't know how deep it went until they started asking questions about you. Panic tightened around Charlie's chest. Memories of his past life flashed through his mind, the thrill of success, the thrill of being connected. I thought I was done with that life. I'm here to help you. I didn't plan for this, Sam pleaded, urgency coloring his tone. I came back because I wanted to warn you. I should have faced you long ago, but I was scared. I knew I'd messed up, and I didn't know how to fix it. I still don't. Charlie clenched his jaw as rage mixed with disappointment. This is a mess, Sam. This is everything I was trying to escape. He turned to Emma, her expression holding a swirl of confusion and concern. why did you come back now? The damage is already done, and I can't risk dragging you into this. Emma's grip on his hand tightened. Charlie, whatever has happened in your past doesn't define your future. But it's clear you need to assess whether you'll let Sam manipulate your choices again. Sam's voice rose. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm here to make things right, to protect you. You've built something new, something beautiful. Please, don't let it fall apart because of my past mistakes. Charlie took a deep breath, the air thick with contention. What do you suggest? Sam's eyes flickered toward the park entrance. We find a way to set boundaries. We confront this head-on. I know people who can help us navigate it. I can fix this, if you let me. Charlie felt like he was teetering on the edge of a precipice, uncertainty pulling at him. What if you can't? What if I can't trust you? If you want to stay hidden, then yes, it could mean losing what you have now. Sam's tone lowered to a more earnest note. But that won't be a solution. This issue won't just disappear. You and Emma will always have a target on your back until we take control. Charlie looked at Emma, she hadn't backed away. Her eyes reflected unwavering support. Whatever you decide, I'm here. We'll figure it out together. In that moment, clarity washed over him. The truth was stark and undeniable. The protection he wanted to offer Emma could only come from choosing honesty, not evasion. He turned back to Sam. I'll consider what you're saying, but first, you need to be straight with me. What other layers are you hiding? If I'm making a choice to face this, I need everything. Sam's gaze shifted to the ground, conflicted. There are more people involved, some I can't name yet. And with them, things are volatile. It's not just you I'm worried about, it's everyone around you. Suddenly, the enormity of the situation crashed down. It wasn't just a weight, it was the crushing reality of potentially endangering Emma and everything he hoped to build. So you want me back in? Back in the game? Not like before, Sam insisted, stepping closer, urgency filling his tone. This time, you set the terms. You control how we handle this. You're not that kid from before. You've grown, Charlie, and you have a chance to take action without losing yourself. But you have to choose. Charlie's heart raced again. He felt the remnants of his old self bubbling to the surface, questioning whether he could make this work, whether he was strong enough to set boundaries that would hold. Charlie. Emma's voice broke through the chaos. Remember who you are. You don't have to go back to that life, not unless you choose to. This is your moment. He suddenly felt an electric charge running through him, clarity fueling his thoughts. You're right. His eyes met Sam's, and for the first time, the fear began to dissipate. I will take action, but under my conditions. You're not dragging me back into the shadows of a life I loathe. If you want to make this right, then get ready to listen to me, to find a way to let those ties cut without angering anyone. Can you do that? Sam's nod was both solemn and a little relieved. Yes. I'll do whatever it takes. Then let us move forward together, Charlie said, glancing at Emma, who smiled back with fierce pride and solidarity. With that, he felt like he was stepping back into the light, the shadows receding at last. This was a new beginning not just for him but for Emma as well. They'd face the challenges ahead, and they'd do it side by side. This moment in the park marked his decision, to brave the storm head-on, to build a life made of real connections and authenticity, and to surround himself with those who believed in love and hope over fear. The shadows of yesterday still loomed, but they didn't have to dictate his future. Charlie took a deep breath, ready to embrace whatever came next with Emma by his side, ready to write their own story, one filled with truth, adventure, and connection. Before we wrap it up, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like right now to feed the algorithm, this really helps our community grow. And please comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. I want to know how it impacted you. Also, don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Authenticity and connection are what we stand for. Let us keep the momentum going.